Hey, Nickiesha.
Hey, Jina.
How has it been?
Good. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. Thank you for joining me. I wanted to take this time to share our experience together to our Cloré community. I really appreciate the work you've done with us, and I wanted to share our journey together. So we'll start with how we met.
Right.
So I'll share that story because I've been following Nickiesha for a year before we started Jarvis. We wanted to open a store in Cloré, Edmonton, and I was looking for a retail interior designer because in the past I did it. It was my background, but I don't have that much time to do all the work. So I wanted to look for someone who had a similar style, who knew retail, and honestly, I wanted someone who knew us. So when I was looking for an interior designer, I found Nickiesha, but it was just like a little bit too late. We were already like in the process of design.
Yeah.
And so I've been following her for a year. And then when we knew that we were going to open this store, I reached out and I called you.
Yes.
So how did it feel when you first heard from me?
Shocked. I'm like, oh, all right. Okay. And it also kind of took me back when, like, when I saw the inquiry come in and the interest, I, thought, wow, like my little business that I have been growing and building for, at that point it was 6 years. I was like, wow, like all my hard work, like you never realize like who is watching you. Like, you've got the social media, you have people who follow and comment, but you forget that there are people kind of in the shadows lurking, which is not a bad thing. No, it's not a bad thing, but it's really cool when things like that happen and these opportunities come up. So I was like, okay, wow, my content is really getting out there. It's getting to the right people or the right, potential clients and leads. And so I was happy when I saw the inquiry come in and that you wanted to kind of give my business a try and trust us with the design. So it felt good to see that.
And how did you get into retail interior design?
So I went to school for interior design. I went to Ryerson, which is now called Toronto Metropolitan University. It's mouthful. And so I went to school for interior design. They teach you everything from residential to hospitality, retail, office design, and all that. And it was in my internship in my third year that I was working for a company who owns the Eaton Center. And I was in the design kind of department, and they intook all the designs from all the flagship stores happening in the mall. So I got a lot of exposure to flagship concepts for big brands like, H&M and like Zara, all of them. And I just loved seeing kind of the outside of the box thinking in the design concepts. It was so different from residential, and I'm like, I want to do that. And so ever since I got that exposure, I was like, I want to try to gear my career towards retail design. And so even leaving school, I ended up in a place, like in an office that did office design. And I was just like, no, this is not for me. Like, yes, it got me a job out of school, but I really pushed my career over to the retail design side. And even now, like with my business, I have people who've reached out and asked me if I do residential, and I'm like, I don't. Retail is my thing. I've fine-tuned that skill, and I just want to stay on that track, and I enjoy it. So yeah.
It takes courage to be super focused and stay like within your lane. Yeah. For us, actually, just to share, we went through a framework with Jim Collins to understand what is the one thing we think we can be the best in the world at. That's how he says it. And it's called the hedgehog concept, because all they know how to do is protect themselves. Doesn't matter if any other animal tries to get to them, such as the clever fox. And our hedgehog concept is Black Beauty Retail.
Yes.
We want to be the greatest in the world at it. And it's not just about products. It's about the community. It's about the experience. And when I shared my vision with you, I wasn't sure how it would hit. So can you tell me a little bit about how you felt about our vision?
Well, when you shared the document with me, I was actually really inspired by it. I didn't realize like how intentional you were in giving back to the Black community, like, even just the employees who work here, how intentional you are with, how you give back to them and how they also give back to your customers. And so, yeah, I really was kind of taken aback by that. I'm really impressed with what you've put together and how focused you are on really helping and building the Black community.
Oh, thank you. What about your experience being a Black woman, an entrepreneur, a business owner? How has that journey been?
Not so bad. I think the journey was mostly, I guess, or challenges, I guess,
Yeah.
were mostly in my head.
Oh, really?
Internal, yeah, and not external. Like, I haven't faced, I don't know, I don't think I've faced too many challenges, but I definitely within myself had faced imposter syndrome, especially starting my business. There's one type of race that dominates the design industry. And to be honest, I was like, when I started my business, I was like, I just want people to trust me. Like, I want people to see that I'm capable. And I knew I had to obviously work harder and like really elevate my the presentation of my work, my business, to show the level of I guess design that a client would get, right? So I really had to present well and really worked on my business to make sure that people trusted me and it showed that I can do the work. And so, yeah, like I guess the challenge was really just within me. And it's been, since I started the business, it's been a process, a personal growth process to show myself that I am capable as well. Just with every project, and, every time we get it photographed, it's like, okay, like it's, it's like another building block, and it's, I wouldn't say I didn't have confidence, but it just builds like the reassurance that I'm doing it, I can do it. And so I'm at the point now where I know I can do it. And when you hired, or when you were inquiring, before you hired me, I was like, I just want to show them I can do this. So yeah, I'm glad, like every time I look back now, I'm like, wow, like we got through that. And, even while I was coming here today, I'm like, I remember the first day we met in the space before it was renoed, and it was what it was previously. I think it was a gym. And I'm like, wow, we're here and it's done. Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
I know, it takes a moment, right?
Yeah. So
that's very interesting to hear, like, because I feel like I also had imposter syndrome, kind of being brought into the business, not really knowing much, but when I started working here, I fell in love with beauty. I love doing hair. I do my own hair. And I also feel that I didn't want to be like the face of the company, because I didn't feel like I would be accepted, or I would be criticized. But honestly, the past couple of years after, I'm like, oh, I need to do this. This is what brings people together and sharing the story. I can't tell you how overwhelmed I was. Can't do this every time.
it's okay.
Just in how the community was so open and willing to share their experience, and also welcoming me. So let's talk a little bit more about the space.
Yes.
What was your vision? And what do you want people to experience when they shop here?
Before I came up with the concept, I thought about the customer and how they experience, or how they will experience the space, and how they're currently experiencing Cloré spaces right now. So, of course, I went out to a few stores, observed for myself. Obviously, I'm a customer as well, but I try to take myself out of the perspective and just see how other people were shopping. And I really wanted to elevate the Cloré look and feel, making it feel lighter, brighter, a little bit stimulating, I guess, and make it a space where your customers were inspired to shop, discover new product, linger in the space a little bit and learn. And I found that in your current stores, what worked really well is the help that your staff provided customers. And I thought, how can I make it about kind of discovering products? Because I understand the Black hair journey, it's a struggle sometimes to find the right products for your hair, and there's a lot of testing and trying and discovering, and with errors using the wrong things that don't work. And so with that in mind, I thought, okay, the concept for the store should be a lab, because it just makes sense. A lab is a space where you test, try, you learn, and I wanted to really bring that through in the design, which is why we're sitting at the beauty lab. That kind of came out of the concept as well, and just really creating a space for customers to explore new products. It's not just a run-on sentence of products, but it's also just breaking it up, calling out to, you know, certain features or certain things or certain products on the display to really grab the customer's attention. So I really wanted to have that come through in the merchandising, and even in the store, just really calling out sections so someone can shop on their own and find what they're looking for. We did a lot of signage in the space so that it's easy to find different areas of the store. Just kind of making it feel like an inspired shopping experience versus just an essential shopping experience. So I really thought about that experience and how easy it would be to find product in a more clear way for the customer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about your process?
Yeah. So my design process in general, I just kind of look into, of course, the vision, like where you see your business and what the brand is, what the brand's about. And then I kind of take that information and look at who your customer is, right? I really like how in your design process, you brought in the VM, like the visual merchandiser. It may have seemed minor for some people, but for us, it was actually one of the reasons why we decided to work with you, because that's how detailed and important it is of like the final result and that customer experience. So I saw it in all of your design processes. Yes. Fun fact, I never had that in the beginning. And I left it up to my clients. And I was like, no, like this is literally the cherry on top. And I'm like, this has to be part of the process. Like we have to finish it and see it through to the end. And ever since I made that decision, it's kind of foundational to what we do. And it completes the package for the client. So,
and who are you working with?
VMID. So we partner with them when it comes to all visual merchandising, and they're a foundational part of my business. So it's a business partnership, I guess you can say. Like I don't know where I would be without having VMID as part of my process.
And I'm telling you, I loved working with them. They were so amazing. They were very flexible, willing to work with what they had. And you could tell they took a step back and they were just like trying to visualize it. And so it was really fun to work with them. So I'm so glad we did. So I wanted to talk about our journey together from a perspective of women, entrepreneurs working together. What do you like about working with other women, especially in like the entrepreneur space?
Yeah, I mean, I think we get it. Like we understand each other.
I definitely agree.
I myself too, I only really work with other female businesses. So like my website designer is female, my brand photographer, she's female, VMID, who does my merchandising, like everybody is female.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's really cool for us to work together. I think we end up becoming friends. And we reach out to each other even after the work has been done. Like even my web designer, like I will send her a message and ask her something.
Yeah.
You know, business related. It's not about my website. It's, you know, just as a friend, like a business friend to a business friend, asking just perspective. And I have found that it's been welcomed. Like I've never have felt competition. It really is a collaboration and partnering, and we're building each other up and supporting each other. And even my clients, like, again, I focus on female-owned businesses, and it's just interesting how everybody who's touching the project is female, and I can appreciate that. I had a photo shoot the other day, and we had this same conversation, how we're all female-owned businesses, and we just ended up doing one big hug afterwards. Because we're like, see, this is so amazing. Like, it was a really good day. It was really positive energy. It was just a really good feeling, and it was just, I'm like, I just never realized how much other female businesses I work with, and it's been a positive experience for me. So it's never been negative at all.
I definitely agree. Working with other women, there's like something you don't have to say that we just get, and then that extra level of support, whether emotionally or, you know, just taking care of each other, calling each other up. agree and definitely have felt that as well. How about we share a little bit about your business? What was behind your name, and how did you get to where you are now?
Okay, so my business started because I really wanted, I felt like where all the places I was working before, the designs were already done for me. As a junior and an intermediate designer, you don't really, well, at least where I was working, you don't really get much say in the concept. You do contribute, but the senior designer or owner are the ones really kind of driving the bus on what the concept is. And for me, I was like, I feel like I'm really missing out on that piece in my design career where I started questioning if I could design. Like it was really like, I was like, I don't know if I can design. I don't know what my design process is. And I personally wanted to start a business to figure that out. Like,
Wow.
how do I come up with something? How do I take something from an inspirational image to a built space? And I knew how to create a built space because that's the experience I had, but I didn't know how to take something from a concept to developing a physical design. And that was kind of the foundation of why I started the business. And then, of course, you go through the process of starting a business and learning that you have to find clients. And I actually enjoy building a business. And then that was something that I didn't realize I would enjoy so much. But of course, knowing retail design, I was like, okay, how can I design spaces for businesses? And so I knew in my research, when I was doing my market research, a lot of larger interior design firms were catering to large retailers. And I thought, well, I can't compete. I don't know. I wasn't really knocking myself, but I just didn't want to compete in that realm.
Yes.
And just kind of through natural observation, I was seeing boutique stores that were just kind of missing the mark in terms of design. There's some that were doing a really good job, and it just made me like wonder, like, well, why is this small business doing so well, and why does their store look so good and then this one doesn't, right? And of course I did a lot of research into that, and obviously it comes down to just the budget for that business, and that's understandable. And so I thought, how can I provide design services to these smaller businesses and medium businesses so that they can look elevated and at least compete, right? Because I know how small businesses, they are working really hard to bring customers in, to make the sales. And I thought, well, just from a design perspective, the downfall is the look and feel of the store. Like no one wants to go into a store that's dark. So that is kind of how I started forming my business and started niching it down to small businesses. And then I expanded up to medium-sized businesses. And I said that's how I wanted to help people. And then also to answer your other question around my name, it really is my initials that I just made a name out of. And I just put them all at the end to make a name out of it. So my full name is Nickiesha Octavia Lewis. Put a name to like make it a name because I just didn't want to say NOL.
Like because Cloré was also like that.
Oh, really?
It was like, let's mix a couple of words together. So Cleopatra and extension. We were playing with the letters.
Yeah.
And then we're like, and then let's just add an accent.
Yeah.
Because we're, French Canadian kind of idea.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's funny how inspiration hits you like that.
Yeah. It was just, I know a lot of businesses just use their initials.
But it looks good.
And so some people have, it's so funny when you do brand identity, right? People have approached me as Nola, thinking my name is Nola. And I'm like, wow, like the business really does have its own identity outside of me. And I'm like, no, it's not my name. My name is Nickiesha. So, but it's interesting how that has taken shape. But that's how the name came about.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
What advice, tidbit do you have for other Black entrepreneurs in this space or even in the industry?
Honestly, I'm going to botch this quote, but there's a quote that I saw that said, running a business is basically disguised as personal development. It totally is. I think a lot of people get in business thinking it's a quick buck.
Yeah.
And they also get in thinking like they go in with their perspective of what they're going to do and not whether or not this is actually going to help somebody or if someone actually needs that. And so one, I would say really kind of do your market research first to see if what you're offering is really a need. And then number two, remember that Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yes.
It does take time. And I would tell myself that now, telling myself that in the beginning, I would say it really did take time. And it was like literally brick by brick. It's been built. And you just have to be patient with the process. It is a process. There's no overnight successes. This is not TikTok. Sorry, but like, yeah, TikTok, you can go viral overnight, but the longevity of that is not always there. And when you're building a business, it is going to be hard, right? But the hardship and the challenges are where the lessons are learned, and that is going to help you in the long run. So put in the work. And I would also say, when you're starting the business and you do your market research, get a brand designer, like know your branding, where your niche, who you're speaking to, because you can't be a generalist, you've got to be a specialist.
100%.
If you're going to really stand out from the crowd. And invest in your brand, like invest in a website, invest in your branding, invest a little bit in marketing, so you can get those organic leads, right? And so that's what I would tell somebody who, or a Black business owner who's starting out, and just really elevate their presentation of their business.
And to add to that, really lean into your skills. Like, know what you're good at, know what you're not good at. Get somebody else to do what you're not good at, or get help. But really, where people shine is when they can be themselves, when they can use their skills, and understanding that actually is really part of the self-development. And realizing that, not everyone is good at everything. At some point, I was proud to say, I am a generalist. I'm not good at anything, but I can be okay at everything. But, really, if I think about it, where I thrive, what makes me happy, where I could do like SketchUp for like hours and I'm not tired. But, that's not for everyone as well. So just things like that, understanding those skills and interests, I think is part of knowing how you'll contribute to your business. So looking ahead, what's in store for Nola Designs, and what do you envision for women-led businesses?
I mean, for Nola Designs, it's still growing the business. I do want to get more into helping e-com retail businesses on their first brick and mortar. I really am trying to push for that. I also am trying to push to do more like retail activations. So I need like pop-ups, like branded pop-ups. I really want to get into that a little bit more. And also, I guess in the next 5 to 10 years is really kind of growing my team. So I'm not the sole designer. There are other designers, but I do love designing. So it's hard to like let go of that. And so I'm just trying to explore what that looks like and how to build that out a little bit.
And hopefully at the end of this year, we'll have a new store designed by Nola somewhere in Canada. Yes, somewhere in Canada.
From the curls to the locks to the sleek and